time to crack that diamond, baby.
No, we don't kiss and tell. No, we don't kiss and tell. They wanna know if I link that girl. No,
that casino who would clear any one of us out.
to the beach and AJ coming with things as well.
Today, their luck is gonna run out.
Take her to a different world.
And we have plans.
You thought that I missed the drop, you're unwell. Big men, no, we don't kiss and tell. When the J's on my feet are from.
We have prepped.
Arm to the key like a vest. I suggest you relax and we lift this shell. The block that I'm from's on the corner of Bliss.
And we are ready to go.
No chase, I'll put the liquor on ice. Put it on the card, I ain't looking at the price.
At the party, my penthouse, who come?
Like a rock star, man, I live that life. No, we don't kiss and tell. No, we don't kiss and tell. They wanna know if I link that girl. No, I don't, but her name rings a bell. Yeah, I brought Sam to the beach and AJ coming with things as well. She wanna live that rock star life, so I'ma take her to a different world. No, we don't kiss and tell.
Whether that's an engineer, whether a designer, or a product manager, you just have to try a lot of things. And then someone who can quickly get to the point of like, what's an MVP or what I'm trying to build? What is the smallest possible test I can run to test this hypothesis that I have? And it usually doesn't mean you have to spend a month building something. It usually is a lot less. Now, in terms of the disciplines, the most important person is an engineer. So if you're just a product manager or just a designer, you can't really do anything. If you're just an engineer, you often can ship something. So usually it starts with engineering. The critical roles after that is someone who's data savvy. Doesn't have to be the product manager. You can start with the engineer itself. You can start with the analyst or data scientist or a product manager. These things that come in hands. So start with an engineer, get someone who understands the data, then maybe you add a designer, then another engineer, eventually a product manager. Kind of comes that way. But managers plays this early role of leading this team, which is typically why product managers are often in the very, very first incarnation of these growth teams.
First processes that most good startups have is some process for getting product out of the door. Okay, so this is what we did. First, we figured out that we wanted to release our product once every 2 weeks. We had an iOS app. It required getting approval from Apple, which took some time. So a 2-week product development cycle made the most sense. Second, we dedicated someone in charge of product. That was me. To be clear, in charge of product doesn't mean they get to decide what's being built. What it meant was that they were responsible for making sure that we met the goals of our development cycle and that we got product out the door. Third, we established what our KPIs were. The first one was new content created. The second one was new users. And the third one was retained users. The next step was that whoever headed up product would create a theme for this product development cycle based on the KPI we were attacking. Let's say this week we're attacking how do you retain users. We would bring all the people in the company together, which at this point was tiny, it was like 4 or 5 people, and we'd have a brainstorming session. What we told everyone was that the product development cycle would start with a product meeting and it would be the only formal meeting we'd have. But it had to go as long as it took for us to come to conclusions. So only one meeting, but we have to get to a conclusion on what we're going to build. So at the beginning of the meeting, what we did was we had a big whiteboard, and the whiteboard had 3 different categories on it: new features, bugs, and tests that we wanted to run. Then we went around the circle and everyone came up with whatever ideas they thought would move our KPI. Remember, would move user retention. Every single idea was written on the board. No idea was debated. It was not the time to shoot people's ideas down. If you had a question about what the idea was, someone could clarify it more, but otherwise people would say it, be written on the board. Of course, it was written in one of these categories. Is this a new feature or an iteration of an existing feature? Is this a bug or is this a test? The cool thing about putting bugs on that list is that oftentimes bugs are the things that are preventing you from growing or preventing you from retaining users. And oftentimes they're kind of put in this weird maintenance category and they don't get done. With us, bugs were actually put directly into the product development cycle. Awesome. So once that brainstorming was done, you had a whiteboard full of features, full of things that you could do. The next step in our process was called easy, medium, hard. So we had a variety of people in our team, some more technical than others. And sometimes it was hard for people to understand how easy or hard their idea was to actually build. So we go through a process of easy, medium, hard that's headed by whoever's leading tech at the company, where they basically grade the ideas based on whether This could be done in a couple hours, whether it would take half a day, whether it would take multiple days. Easy, medium, hard. Now, once you see all the ideas on the board, first of all, you feel included in the process. So every person in the company feels like they've been involved in the process of coming up with what we're going to work on in these 2 weeks. Second, once you see other people's ideas, you start thinking, maybe some of them are better than mine. Maybe I want to back some of these other ideas instead of my own. And then third, once you see easy, medium, hard, that's when things get really fun. Because suddenly you realize that maybe one of the best ideas on the board is an easy idea that's fast to build. And maybe the idea that you were pushing was a medium or hard idea that's slow. So suddenly you have this kind of objective framework to look at what's going on and to figure out what to build, as opposed to just arguing based on what you believe or what's in your head. Then the next step in our process, what was called pick the hards first. With a small team, you could probably only do 1 or 2 hard tasks during a 2-week period of time. So it's easier to debate just the hard ideas, because once you see those medium and easy ideas that might be more effective, a lot of the hard ideas fall by the wayside. Once you've picked the hard ideas that you want to work on, then you pick the mediums, then you pick the easies. You write those in a list, and the very, very next step, while everyone is in the room, is to spec those ideas out. What you need to do is basically write up exactly what you want to build around that idea and exactly who's going to be responsible for what part. You do that in the room so that there's no confusion about what's going to be built. And then you put that spec in whatever product management system or software that you're using so that everyone can be looking at the same document and everyone is building the same thing. Then, once the meeting's over, you shut up and get to work. You don't continue to debate. If your idea didn't get built, that's fine. Suck it up. There's going to be another product meeting in another week or 2 where you can bring your idea up again. Even better, maybe you can go into your analytics system and find more evidence for why your idea should be built. Either way, because you know that another product development cycle is coming up soon, you don't have to hold on to the baggage of not having your idea being picked. As the product person, especially a product person who isn't an engineer, it's even more important to shut up. Don't change the spec. Don't change what people are working on. You have this fixed period of time, and the most important thing is to get product out the door into customers' hands and then learn from them. And if you have confidence the development cycle is working well, you'll know that even if this cycle doesn't produce the results you want, the next cycle will, or the one after. For us specifically, doing a mobile company, the last part of our product development cycle was testing. It's kind of hard to push bug fixes out on mobile apps. It takes some time. You have to go through Apple approval. So you have to be a little bit more careful about testing. For us, testing was a full team job because everyone hated it. So what we did was we had a long list of things to test that was historical. And then every time we did a new release, we added things to that list. And then we had a saying, everyone tests. As a result, all the engineers and everyone else in the company, we all tested everything on that list. Once we found bugs, we wrote them down. We tried to figure out how to repeat them. And then only after all the testing was done would the bug fixing be done. As a result, everyone sucked up the painful part of testing together. So this was a product development cycle that we created. It worked very well for us.
The other night, me and my girl went bowling.